So we're gonna be live in three, two, one, go. Oh, sorry, I'm already live. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Sal speaking. Guess what? Today we're gonna discuss about politics a little bit, and this is such a hot topic to address, and I hope to find the right words and the right way to actually address this big problem that we are having in Italy at the moment. It's really hard to address such a problem, but it's vital that I talk about it because it's talking about my country and it's really, really, really stressing me out a lot. I don't know what I've done. I can't see anymore anything. Moved something from, I don't know, just, I will never understand Mac. Mac, it's just hard to understand. And this is definitely something. I just can't see anything anymore. I don't know what I did, but I did it. And okay. I don't know what's happening, but sorry for this inconvenient, but okay, I'm stretching out the page. I just managed to do it, and here I am. I'm totally live, and I hope that you will make some comments. I'm looking forward to your comments. So, remember we have the super chat option. You can write at any time. Feel free to use it. Thank you for using this super chat. So one thing I don't really, I never, you know, um, read newspapers or watch TV or watch the news on TV. I think they're like bad news for the most instead of good news, and this is something like that really bothers me. It kind of like puts me down whenever I watch bad news, which is like what they talk about all the time. But I've been exercising a little bit lately, and while I exercise, I tend to listen to music, and I listen to music on the radio. And so I was listening to some stuff like in these days about politics and all the crap is taking place to Italy. First of all, we had like few presidents. Well, I don't understand. So I really don't understand why in Italy we have like the president of the republic, which I don't know like how to compare it to the American ones, and then we have the actual president. So one, the president of the republic as a representative kind of meaning. It's kind of like he seems to be acting like a mediator between like the parliament and all these like politicians and all this crap happening. And but then we have like so many parties. Basically, we have the right and the left. Um, but you have the Democrats and the Republicans, right, in the states. But here is much more complicated. Like there's so many parties that you really get confused because there's so many parties with so many different names. It's just like something crazy. So if you want to understand politics in Italy, it's gonna be very hard. Even for myself. Never got into it, but um, it's crap. The only thing I can tell you is like they're screaming all the time. They are like arguing all the time, and some people don't even go to parliament. That's crap. Some people even fall asleep during like the actual meetings. So that's terrible. But one thing I heard on the radio today is that Berlusconi is back. He is back, and he could, of course, he won't be able to govern like this time because we have two main parties right now, and they are, you know, basically the main ones, those who won, in other words, and so they're gonna be in the government. So they're like creating this government, and it took like more than a month. I think 40 days or even more. So it's been crazy. Like we voted for these people, and they were still like waiting for uh, to have a government, and they're still arguing. They're not sure about what to do, which one is gonna be the actual president. Um, we've got the president of the republic, and believe it or not, it's from Palermo. This guy. Not that I like him very much, but yeah, the new president. We don't know who is going to be. We've got two possibilities. One is called Di Maio. It's called the party is called the Movimento Cinque Stelle. It's like a party where they've got like many good ideas. They've got like really good ideas, and they are together with another party. They kind of got together. So I hope this finally comes to an actual end, so that they actually do something. Because I think that if they get together, maybe we can, get something good for this country. Because this country is not, it's not navigating in good waters at the moment. So basically, this Di Maio guy from the Movimento Cinque Stelle, the M5, it's called the M5. He got interviewed this morning, and he said that he wrote down 19 points that he would like to discuss, and he would like to, so 19 goals kind of thing. And that's a really good thing, One thing I really like about this, and especially because I'm from the south, because in the south of Italy we're experiencing like a massive rate of unemployment. Really, like here, to find a job, it's a hard thing, and if you find a job, you don't get paid well. And many of the people who work here in the south, they tend to work full time, but then they have a part-time contract. This is a reality. I'm not just kidding. This is something real. So if they will make some, if the police will make some searches, some investigation, they would indeed find a lot of this going on in Palermo, but not only in Palermo, like all over the south, and probably even up north, because back in the days we used to be the guys from the south used to be the poor ones, but the guys from the north, they used to be the rich ones. And nowadays it's still like that, but not as much as it used to be before. Things have changed so much that even in the north they're experiencing some troubles. Not as much as we are in the south, but they're still having a hard time. So the funny thing about Italy, it's crazy country, because in our like I think constitution, if I'm not wrong, because I'm not very good with these things, but sometimes I like to address these things. I never talk about politics in my channel. This is the very first time, but this is also funny in a way. They say that Italy is a republic founded on work. So this makes me laugh a lot, because we should, have more work, and we should depend on work, on jobs and all this stuff, but we are not actually, a republic founded on work, because we don't have any work. So there's a Jadin Sia, hello. Malaysia had a new government 2 days ago, so I hope they're gonna have a good government, and I hope that things are gonna be good for these people as well, because here things are gonna be crazy. Sì, ma il problema è che con le idee non si va da nessuna parte. I don't know. I don't know if I agree. This guy said that with ideas we don't go anywhere. Ideas are not leading us, are not taking us anywhere. I disagree, because ideas actually are the fundamentals of actions. If you have good ideas, you will eventually, make good actions. And this is something that should happen, and it never happens, because we have so many cracks in our society, starting from family, going to, all sort of class of people. We have immigration problems. We have so many problems here. So I don't think that that ideas don't matter. I think ideas matter. So that's my thought on it. So and it's funny to me that such a beautiful country like Italy, I think we have one third of the historical sites of the world. We have one of the seven wonders in the world, like the Colosseum. We've got so many beautiful paintings from Leonardo, Raffaello, Michelangelo. I mean, and you name it. You know, we are a country that is valuable. Really, like there's no actually you can't rate how valuable this country is. Because if you consider how small Italy is, we are actually, doing well, on from certain points of view, from certain point of views. But Jace M is saying last time Italy had a good leader when Caesar Augustus ruled. Yeah. But even back then, we don't know really what happened. But according to historians, maybe yes. I don't know much about history, But yeah, that's a cool thing. You've got a point there, and I think that we had some people like running our government who did a really good job, who did some good things. But I think that in the last I don't know probably 12 years we had a crap government. We didn't even choose our own government, which is something stupid, and the people are very stupid. They don't care about it, And the way Italians think about certain things is that they are viewing life in a certain way where they are like, okay, I'm fine with it, meaning they work hard, they earn a little bit of money, and this money that they earn, they're just happy with it. They're happy with the life they're leading. They're happy that they're like maybe they get to save 200 euros a month if they're lucky, and they're like, okay, I can live, I can support myself, I can pay for food, I can spend some time with my family. Maybe once a month I can go out for a pizza with my family or whatever, and I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied, and so this kind of feeling of satisfaction. The We say, in Italy we say accontentare, which means like to be fine with it, like to be well with it, to be okay with it. You don't want more, you don't look for more because you already have something and you're okay with it. We're not very business minded people. We're very okay, relaxed, laid back, and we're fine with everything and whatever. But seriously, like I think this country deserves a lot of more things, especially tourism. Here in the south of Italy, specifically in Sicily, we could live out of tourism. There's no doubt about it. We have a lot of monuments, a lot of places. We have good weather all year round. Yes, it rains, but even in the winter time, whenever it rains, after like I don't know 1 or 2 hours, the sun will come out and dry up things. So this is a beautiful island. This is a beautiful place, a little paradise. The only problem about Sicily, people say here, and they make a joke about it, and then I agree with it when they say that it's Sicilians. Sicilians are the main problems. So if we get rid of all the crazy Sicilians, especially about all the crazy drivers driving on the road, I remember when I lived in Scotland for 2 years, and when I came back from Scotland, I came back here to Sicily, and specifically to Palermo. I was crossing the road, and I was afraid that the car would kill me. And even to this day, like things are still in a way crazy. People don't look at you at the road, and it can be kind of challenging to cross the road and stay alive at the same time. But it is possible, I guess. And the Malvage is saying, "Oh, come on, Theodoric the Great wasn't so bad." I don't personally know Theodoric the Great, but we need to look at things now, and um, I think the problem is that history more or less has repeated itself, and the thing that we should try to do is not to make the same mistakes that we made in the past. But unfortunately, like history seems to be repeating itself all over and over again, and it seems like that we're not like learning from our mistakes. Because I think if you look at the human life, human lives, as human life is the same all over the world. People are, healthy. People get sick. People um, die. People, get graduated. People get a job. People lose a job. People fall in love. People like got their get their hearts broken up from situations and tragedies in lives. They're like countries, peaceful countries. There are countries where there's war and there's you know lots of bad things taking place, and you can't do anything about it. The only problem is that people always want more. They want more. They're not content. They're not happy with what they have. They always striving to have more, to get more than your neighbor. That's what they're trying all the time, to get more, to have more, to be better, to be competitive. And this is very, very, very common in the American culture. Competition is a great thing. There are a lot of things we can learn from competition, but still, if you look at it, to be too much competitive really is not a good thing, because it doesn't enable to live your life. I was, talking to an American friend of mine the other day, and I was telling her, "Thank you so much for, talking to me on the phone, for spending so much time to me on the phone." Because I was doing a job, I was doing some gardening for my dad, and I was like, "Well, I'll call this friend." So I called her, and I spent some time with her on the phone. And of course, American people are very like a classical American phone call will be like, "Yeah, hello, good. Yes, fine. See you later. Bye bye." So, I mean, as far as I know, like American people don't tend to talk too much on the phone. Italian people are like, they tell you everything they've done. Like this morning, I went to the supermarket. I got some fruits. I met this guy, and we talked about this and that and blah blah blah. So they're like certain to telling you all the things they've done, and maybe you were the same guy they met at the supermarket. Meaning, they will still tell you. They will still make comments. We like gossip a lot, and and so people, are culturally different here, of course. And another problem we have here is immigration. Immigration is a big problem. It's a big problem all over the world. I think we are, pardon me, we are like citizens of the world. I don't think there should be such a thing as country. When I say this, don't make me wrong. I'm not saying that we should like take off the names from our countries. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that we shouldn't talk about um, that we shouldn't talk about. Um, Sorry, I got distracted from a um, from my friend Metatron, who's really helping me a lot to solve a problem I had with Google AdSense. Is my friend, and he always helps me out to solve things. And so in the States, the way like immigration, as far as I've seen, so don't quote me on this, because I'm not from the States, but I lived there. I spent there 3 months, so I think kind of understood some things, and the way immigration works. It's kind of a smart way. I agree with the United States of America when they don't allow so many people in the States, because that would be crazy. But in the same time, there are many people who come from different parts of the world, specifically, Mexicans, but it's not just Mexicans. Like there are people from all over the world who get into the States illegally. What they do, they start to pay taxes, they start to pay things, and they can leave the country, because if they would leave the country, that it would mean that they wouldn't be able to come back to the country itself. So if you leave the country when after you're illegally in the country, you cannot enter the country for at least between 8 and 10 years. So it's a big deal. So it's a smart thing in a way, because if you get there illegally, and if you stay there illegally, you're stuck. You're stuck there. So you can't forget about your families. You can forget about your country and everything. People can come to see you there, but you can't go to Italy, for example, to see your family. And but in the same way, it's a good thing for the nation, because when money get around, when money circulate, it's a great thing. It's a great thing to have money all the time getting around. So So that's important as well. And here we are a crazy country when it comes to immigration. And don't make me wrong, I'm not against African people, which I know many of them. They're really really cool people. Some of them are not as good, but we have bad people as Italians. We have bad people all over the world. There's no difference in race when it comes to bad people. Bad people are all over the world. But here, like, we have so many people from different parts of the world, specifically from Ghana, from Africa, and so forth. And these people came here illegally. And the funny thing about this Italian country is that they're enabling people to come in. They're like rescuing them, which is a great thing. And some of these people are escaping from war, which is a really tragic thing. So all of my respect goes to these people. But some of these people are just like drug dealers or delinquent people who are leaving their countries to in search of a better world. And the way these people look at our country is like, oh wow, I go to Italy, we get Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and they're living a good life, so I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna have a good life as well. And they basically look at Italy the same way that Italians used to look at the States, because our great grandfathers, used to leave Sicily and the south of Italy, but all over the country, really, like they would go there by boat, by ship, and they would get there, they would get in the States, and they would start a new life. They would be, of course, they wouldn't be 100% respected. They would be, many people taking advantage upon them. They would be the people who would do the most humbling jobs. But that's fine because their posterity, the people who came after them, are, of course, their sacrifice. The sacrifice of these old Italian people has, brought a lot of benefit to the lives of the Americans who have Italian origins. That's for sure. In fact, of course, the Americans who have like Italian origins, they feel more Americans instead of Italians. But never forget your roots. And such an amazing country as the United States of America has so many roots. It comes from different countries. It's a mix of countries, so it's so beautiful. I really like this. Um, so, but here, like, the government is getting money from the European Union to rescue these people. So we're getting money. We should give them money, but we're not giving them any money. So they're like even escaping from this, centers that these guest centers. I don't know you call it. Basically, there are these places where they get food, they get a bed, they get looked after, in this specific place. And sometimes they escape from these places, and they're nowhere to be found. They're seriously nowhere to be found. And here, like, things have gotten worse because you can find lots of African people in every street corner almost. They're begging for money, um, and they're not doing anything. If we really analyze what they are doing here, they're not doing anything, and they're making more money than I am doing because I'm totally unemployed at the moment, and they make good money. They live together, they pay less for rent, and they get to live, which is fine. But I think it's something wrong. I think that the people who come to any country of the world should be of some good to that country, because if they come to that, for example, if I go to the States and go there like begging for money or being like a hobo or whatever, that's not a good thing. What am I bringing? What am I doing? What good am I doing to the country? Nothing. What am I producing? Nothing. So that's a fact. But if I go there with a degree or maybe with some competencies, like if I have some skills, if I have skills, they're nowhere to be found. And if I can, give something good to the country, why not? Why wouldn't you let me in your country, for example? Why wouldn't you let other people in your country? If the people who come to any country of the world are, working in favor of the development of the country itself, it's a great thing to have people come. But if the people are, bringing like they're like doing like drugs, they're like drug dealers, and they're like criminals, and they're killers, and they're whatever they are, they're not welcome in any country. So that's my point when it comes to these things. So Carl Rowe is asking me, have you ever been to Albania? I've never been to Albania, but I have some Albanian friends. So yeah. Sorry, so sovereignty of a state is what makes a state a state. Without borders, there is no state. Well, I think you got it wrong, DG, because I'm not saying that we. I think that we are all the same. We are all, God's children, in my opinion. So there's no difference between me and you. We're all the same. So we must. If I go to the states, I will respect the law of the states. That's why, after on the 90th day I left the states, because I didn't want to stay there illegally. I kept the law. I respected the traditions. And I respect the traditions. But when you guys come here, should do the same. But many times people are not doing this. And this happens all over the world. Even Africans sometimes who come here, like, they're still, acting like Africans do, which is not. I'm not criticizing like the way Africans, act. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that we have some ways. We have different ways, and we should respect each other. For example, in Germany, everybody is very silent, as far as I've seen. I've never been to the old country, but people are very organized, very respectful. They're very clean. Here, people, if you come here, like, people are loud. We scream out loud all the time. We're just crazy. We drive crazy. We scream like crazy. I think we have something in common with African people, specifically in the south of Italy. There are a lot of people screaming. The tone of our voice is very high. But in the States, people are different. They don't have the same tone of voice. They're different, in many, many ways. And this is what makes the world beautiful, I guess, our differences. So that's not I'm not criticizing like differences. I'm just saying that there are differences but I'm saying that we should be allowed. There shouldn't be this idea of borders, like, because borders is something that is dividing people, but we need to acknowledge the borders, but we need to be good people. We need to feel like that we belong to the human race, instead of being like, I'm from Italy and blah blah blah, I'm from this, I'm from that. And that's something important in my opinion. So the other question is, what do you think about American Italians? Well, Italians, Americans, yeah, I think they're great people. I think there some of them are somewhat nostalgic about their countries, meaning like the Americans who were born in the States, they think a lot about Italy. They think about the sacrifices of their grandfathers. They're very grateful for the sacrifices their parents, grandparents, and their ancestors have done, and they're somewhat thankful. And some people have a lot of fun discovering their roots, going back, doing genealogy, and even traveling to the place where their great grandparents used to live. And whenever they get there, whenever they go there, they feel a strong sense of belonging to the country, to the people, and it's really cool. And in fact, if you would do a DNA test, when you said that there are no that there are borders, I disagree, because if you really would do a DNA test, you will discover that there is not such a thing as borders, because we are all, we all belong to certain roots, and you will see that your ancestors maybe are from Germany, and maybe you don't even like Germany or any other country that you don't like. I've done my DNA test, and I have Spanish blood. I've got mainly Italian and Greek blood, which is cool, and I have some African blood, like Northern African, even I think 1% of Southern African. I don't know how they got here or whatever. And then I have Israel's, like Jewish blood, European Jewish, European Jewish. So we're all a mix of races, We all come from, more or less, the same family. So um, the world really like is belongs to all of us. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And so, ciao Gaetano, and hello Kami SS. So there's no such thing as borders. There's no such thing as divisions. There are countries and they need to be respected. There are countries that have laws that need to be respected, and we should, try to get along more with each other instead of fighting each other. That's my opinion. There's no good coming from wars and destruction and all these things. But I'm not talking about, when I say this, I'm not talking about any specific countries. I'm just saying this in general. I don't want to get into a you know argument when it comes to these things, because I don't have any political really like I don't stand for any specific political party or whatever. But hello, Kami. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really humbled by your donation. Thank you so much. Um, it's been really busy lately, so I do apologize if I haven't been producing much content. But there are many things I'm gonna be doing. Like I'm gonna have to do like the last two. I have the last 2 months of school, and then I'm gonna get back on track. I'm gonna do lots of things, and it's gonna be great. There's going to be a live chat at the moment. Every Saturday we have the chance to talk together to discuss topics, and these topics will indeed be interesting. I hope, and I hope that this video will be of somewhat interesting, and that will stimulate your mind, and that will you know help you to understand and see, as Kami said, like that I'm showing you another side of the world. And this is the side of the world, and the side of the world I'm sharing with you is the real side of the world. Meaning, I'm not saying that my opinions are right. I might be wrong. I might say crap. But I'm saying that whatever I say, this is what I see. And in oftentimes in newspapers and TV programs, we are not, truly or fully informed. I think that somebody else who's standing on top of information, and they're like filtering information. And for example, I remember one time I met a guy from northern India or something, and this guy. Sto facendo un video, mi lasci un secondo stare? Ok, mi lascio la testa da me. Là. So I was saying that I got disturbed, sorry, but I was saying that I talked to a guy from northern part of India. This guy told me, I think it was Pakistan. No, wait, India, Pakistan. Yeah, I think it was Pakistan. He was talking about, and he was telling me, yeah, the same things that happened in Paris, like all the terroristic attacks and bad things happening in Paris, happened in Pakistan as well. And he said, like, have you heard of it? And I'm like, no, I haven't heard anything, because no one in the news is telling us what is happening, what is taking place in the world today. There are wars, there are like civil wars, there are like people suffering, there is a lot of things, and I think corporations are taking a lot of power in the world. They really have, they're influencing the world, and this is crap. The same thing happens and happened before with the wheat, with the grain that the United States wanted to import to other countries, even to Italy, and I'm glad that we didn't accept it, because in poor words. No, I'm sorry if I'm not really good at explaining this, but what they wanted to do, which is smart. So the United States is producing like wheat, like grain and flour, specifically flour. In the United States, you have got like not a lot of different types of flour. You have like something like 5 or 6 different type of grain actually. In Italy, we have thousand different types of grain and wheat and flour and so forth. And so you're producing something. Let's say you're producing like 2,000 kilos of grain, whatever, But what your country needs is 1,000. So what do you do with the other 1,000? You just sell it for very less, for very cheap, to Italy, for example. And Italy will buy it cheap and can produce it in a cheaper way. But this would ruin the goodness of pasta, the goodness of our products, And I'm glad that this is not going to happen. Although there are some companies, like the Lidl company from Germany, which is a supermarket, like a chain from Germany, pardon me, is selling pasta, okay? And I checked on the package and I was like, okay, let's check and see where this pasta is coming from. And then I checked on the package and it said, this pasta is made from wheat that comes from grain from the European Union and the non-European Union. This means that, they're collecting grains and wheat and flour from different parts of the world and they're putting it together and they're making a product that, in my opinion, really sucks. A product that is truly offensive, against our culture, against the goodness of our product, the quality of our products. So this is something unacceptable. I don't accept it. I go crazy when it comes to these things, Nobody can stop me from declaring what I say, Pasta is Italian, and it's made with Italian wheat. Actually, Sicily had a great importance, even during the ancient Romans. It was a place where, the Romans would, produce lots of grain. And so, and it is still to this day an important place for that produces many different types of pasta, many different types of flour and good things come from this country. Believe me, like, you only would need to come here to try it. If you haven't been to Italy, and when I say Italy, I mean even the south, and specifically the south has a great importance. Don't make me wrong, I love Rome, I love Venice, I love all these places from up north, and they have amazing things. There's so many cool things, beautiful things, and they've got great food. But the best food, in my opinion, is from Rome down. It's just so good. So good. The quality of our food is just amazing. The quality of our products is just fantastic. I remember when I lived in the States, I tried to eat an apple, and the apple tasted like plastic to me. And the taste of fruits and vegetables here is way much better. Better than the one you find in the States or in other countries. Specifically talking about the American continent. So, the future. What kind of future is expecting? What kind of future is awaiting us? I don't know. Let me read this comment from Layer of Dionysus. As far as I know, the parties in Italy, like Five Star Movement and these others, are very well feeble and weak altogether. Well, not really. The situation is that the South is really, supporting this five star movement a lot. Why? Because we've got a really high rate of unemployment. We are waiting for the benefits, meaning the citizenship benefits. I don't know. Probably call it this way. So the unemployment benefits. This is what I'm talking about. And I think this is very important, because if they would give this money to us who are unemployed, we would spend the money and the economy would speed up and would increase and eventually get better. Of course, I don't like the idea of having people sitting down all day doing nothing and getting money from the state. No, I don't agree with it. But in fact, what the five-star movement is proposing is that people have three chances to accept jobs. The first time, second time, if the third time you decline a job offer, you're out of the program, you won't get any more money, which is a good thing. So I totally agree with this program. I really like it. I think it could be good for the country, it could be good for the people, it could make a very, very good difference to the economy. And I think, I mean, Italy is not investing in many, many things, you know. And as a matter of fact, if you look at football, meaning soccer, as you call it, as you guys call it in the States, is having so many cracks. Meaning, we have so many players coming from different parts of Europe and the world playing in our Italian teams. But where are the Italians? Why are Italians not so good at sports? Actually, if you look at Italy, and this is crazy because, as I said before, considering again how small of a country comparing Italy to United States of America, for example, is, you can, I mean, it amazes me that we have people, for example, we're very good at fencing, we have good people at running, we have good people at uh, cycling, you know, we had the Giro d'Italia just here in Sicily. That was cool. They went, I think they were passing by Agrigento, the southern part of Sicily, where we have the best preserved Greek temples in the world, which is an amazing place. Um, so that's really, really cool. And looking at the future, you know, we have a very unexpected future. We don't have a very bright future. It's gonna be hard for us, and so I think Italy should invest more in sports, in tourism. You know, we don't give the importance to sport. We don't give the right importance to sport that we should give. For example, this lesson I've learned in, like when I lived in the States. You know, you are American friends, you are really great when it comes to sports because you're very competitive in a good way. You know, sports, when you practice a sport, it means money, which is, I mean, it's not good to to practice a sport for money, but it's good to be competitive enough that you know that you're gonna get something if you're gonna exceed in a specific sport. So this is really, really good. How you, from since like starting with the high school and going to the universities. For example, I had the privilege to attend to see a few games like basketball games, university games such as BYU games, or even the University of Utah's games like the American football games. They were very, very good. Like, you have amazing universities, great places, big, you know, you've got stadiums, you've got money, you've got business, you've got ideas, you've got more things that we have. We don't have all these things. So when somebody is excelling in a sport, you must consider that there is a family behind them. There are no scholarships when it comes to sport whatsoever. You know, nobody's gonna give you anything here, and so. But we need to learn this from you American friends. You know, we need to learn this from those countries who are actually doing really, really well, who are actually better than us at this, and who are actually, you know, who can teach us more of these things and how to improve, you know, to become better people when it comes to sports. And so I think this is something that is really, really lacking in this country. And also another thing, we want to talk about how much money the politicians here get. They get like, some of them like get $15,000, like euros a month. That's a lot of money. The five-star movement is they don't want to have all these privileges. They don't want to have, you know, they call it blue cars, which is like the police cars, the state's cars, the, you know, with a driver, and they, you know, drive you all around at the state's expenses, and that's not a good thing. You know, they're like, okay, we want to get, you know, maybe 2,000, 3,000 euros a month, and so we will take the rest of the money out of our, you know, out of our wages, you know, and we will help the state in a way, and that's a really, really good thing. You know, there are people also like they're like senators and so forth. They get a pension till they die, you know, and it's a lot of money. Some of them get even 20,000 euros a month for what? You know, some of these people are not humble. They don't use public transportation. Yes, of course, we're late in Italy all the time, but still, they're not really like giving the example. You know, they seeking for power, and there's a lot of corruption, and even the mafia and all this stuff is still something real. You know. So layer of Dionysus is like, but what about the migrant crisis with all the non-Italians taking over many cities and low birth rates? Well, yeah, this is a common thing here, you know. Um, I mean, the Lega party is actually very, very, very strong when it comes to immigration. They wanna, according to, as far as I know, so don't quote me on this, but as far as I know, they wanna kick out all the people who actually don't have a visa to stay here, and that's a good thing. You know, I feel sorry for these people, but that's a good thing because we need to think about our own country and develop our country, and then eventually, if we have a chance, we will be happy to help the non-Italian people. But at the moment, we don't have enough to help the Italians. You know, TBH. What do you mean by TBH? I don't understand you. I think it's in our genetics to not be as into sports. I can tell you personally, I've never been all that much into them myself. But yeah, but if you look at the country, the American country, from a general point of view, there is a lot of people who practice sports, and even though they're not everybody's practicing sports because many people are eating like their hamburgers, and I don't blame these people for it because I really really love hamburgers, Um, I mean, there are still people, who are doing sports. They're really, really good with it. And the fact that the United States is giving importance to sport, that's what I like. Giving importance to a specific activity. Yeah, to be honest, yeah. So, this is what I think. These are my thoughts on politics and the Italian situation at the moment. I hope that this video was somewhat informative, was good, that you enjoyed it, and I thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for all of you, my great subscribers. Thank you so much for the patience. Thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon. Let me read this last comment, and if you have comments, please feel free to write it down, but I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna run off because I need to do some things. But true, I mean, USA is obsessed a lot with sports, but it might have more to do with the USA culture based on extreme competition. Yeah, and I'm glad that you actually recognize it. You're very humble, and that's really good of you. But the USA, my friend, is a Zionist-run country, an empire that is collapsing. Well, as long as there will be good people in the United States, the country won't be collapsing, in my opinion. And you have an amazing constitution. I respect it. I like it, and all the countries should use this constitution as an example of goodness, of organization, and on how a good country should be. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for all your comments, for your help, and for my patrons, for my subscribers. And I'm gonna leave now, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. And remember, if you feel sad, you better call Sal. Bye bye.